trades is back, and I'm gonna be doing two trade reviews. So far, these have been the W's of this weekend. Mind you, I didn't trade Monday. I think it's very important to know when you should and should not trade. Me, that day, I just didn't feel very good about it. It was Monday, it was very choppy, so I decided to take the day off. But we came back Tuesday, and I signaled PLTR. Let me check. I think it was 78 calls. Okay, yeah, I signaled PLTR 78 calls, uh 1.52 at 10 a.m. Now, what I was looking with PLTR, right? Mind you, let's go into the bigger time frame. PLTR had my strategy right here, which is my inside. Um, and then not only that, right? PLTR, I seen that as you see here at 10 a.m. We managed to close above my 21 EMA. I also wanted every time I try to take a breakout, especially with my insides, I want a fair value gap to create in that area of my inside high. For this instance, is my inside high because, we broke above it. So I always want a FVG to form to kind of like back me up. But yeah, that's kind of the reasons why I took PLTR. It was kind of risky because we had this gap down here on the 1 hour, as you can see. So this could have been a very nice gap fill play. Now, mind you, this is not too big of a gap. It's only like about a $2 gap. So yeah, uh, those are kind of the reasons why I got into PLTR that day. As you see right here, right, the FVG forms. That's kind of what I like to look for. And as soon as it went above my 4 hour inside high, I triggered calls, and we took this move all the way up to here. It gave us 100% in calls, 78 calls, right? We try to go in the money, and then later on, it finally went to the TP, right? But it managed to go to my priority TP, which was gap fill on the 1 hour, just like how I showed you guys. So here's the gap fill. Priority TP was that gap fill, just in case we reject. But yeah, this is why I took PLTR on Tuesday. That's kind of my three reasons why I got in above my 21 EMA. I was looking at it on the 15-minute just to see, because I wanted to see that, PLTR had a nice candle close above and respect that, right? And then on the 5-minute, I wanted to see PLTR go above my VWAP, right? Which we initially did here. As you see, we created a FVG as well, right? Just in case it did come back, I would just load up more on some calls here. So yeah, that's kind of why I took PLTR. Ended up being a banger trade. I don't really trade PLTR like that, but I tried it here. Yeah, this was a banger trade. Now my next call out was AMD 118 calls. Now we took this today. So don't mind this. This is just my setup for today. But as you see here, right, you have my strategy. Let's just put this as a pinkish line, because that's my 4 hour inside high of that day. This is my 4 hour inside low of that day, right? So here's my strategy. And I also see that, as you guys see, AMD has this magnet right above us, right? So if I said to myself, if I could long it at least to the gap touch, that'd be a nice risk reward trade at least, right? So here it is. Let's go back to the 15. So as you see here, right? What do? We come bounce off this 90 EMA, and we automatically push above. Not only that, it had a nice little gap up too as well, so it held gap up. This is how I put my stop loss. I put my stop loss at the gap. and I put my TP at the gap touch, right? Just in case we reject, like how we've been doing here. We tried to fill it, but we automatically rejected, right? Just because I know that this is the first initial retest of that, so we can have a chance of rejection. So why not just catch a nice trade, at least to the gap, and call it a day, right? So this was my stop loss. I put it at the gap. Let's go to the 5 minute. As you see on the 5 minute, it confirms here on my VWAP. We start to get that initial reaction, right? This is why sometimes I will enter even before it breaks out, because I get that confirmation on that VWAP as well, right? So now I have my 21 and my 9 EMA respecting on the 15. That's my first confirmation. Here's the second confirmation, respected the gap up, right? My third confirmation is my VWAP closed above, right? My fourth confirmation is, like I said, even if I'm taking the breakout, I want for a fair value gap to form either while I'm taking the breakout or even before that, right? Just in case we could take that FVG entry, which initially here was the FVG, right? Even about right here, if you wanted to count this as well, right? But here are FVGs that were created, which initially I loved those, and yeah, it kind of came, retested, and then boom, it went initially to TP. I didn't hold this all the way to TP, but yeah, I sold majority of like my last runner. I sold it down here somewhere at like plus 10, 15, and then up here was about 50, 52%. So if I would have just held a little bit more, right, wait on the retest, TP finally hit, these would have initially hit it like 80, possibly 70%, right? Who knows? But yeah, that's the initial why I looked for the setup today, right? We've been holding this gap up. We came, bounced off this 9 EMA, and yeah, we initially went there. As you see, all day we held the 21 EMA, which I believe that bullish buyers are still in control, right? If we could still hold that last line of defense. So yeah, that's initially why I took AMD today for, let's see, 52% with 1,407 in profit. And yeah, these are the reasons why it's important to not always trade every day, guys, but be specific on the setups. And yeah, these two plays, I've taken 2 out of 3 plays. I did call Google as well, but I did delete my chart off that. So okay, my shit froze. But yeah, guys, that's why I took these plays. And yeah, hopefully this recap helped you guys.